Yeah, just coming off of getting a chance to dive into the tape. A lot of things we can improve on, but once again, did like the response and kind of the resolve of our team to get a win on the road to back-to-back now. Got to go do it in the division now. Divisional road games are really important, especially in a division as competitive as the NFC North has been this year with, really 4 good teams in the division. So it's going to be a challenge going to Chicago this week, and we've got to have a really good week of preparation. Also want to highlight the 90th birthday of Viking legend Paul Wiggin, one of the great people I've gotten to know very well in this building. 90 years old today. Unbelievable impact on our organization, so I wanted to make sure I said that. Just injury update. Josh Oliver did get a left ankle sprain. We're still trying to figure out kind of the severity and let him work through the early part of the week here treatment-wise and see what his availability could be for Sunday. And I'll try to keep you guys posted as we get a little bit later in the week.
Kevin, with the tight end spot, just how have you seen T.J. Hawkinson come along in these 3 games and just his role? Does he seem ready to ramp back up to that full-time role?
Yeah, I think, he's made some critical plays, either thinking back to the Jacksonville game when there were some real premier looks for him with how they were defending Jordan and Justin. And then yesterday had some ops, a couple chain moving catches, and I think he's just continuing to kind of, make up for some time loss of actual game action, and he's getting better and better. And we're very fortunate to have him back in there. And that's saying something just with how remarkable Josh Oliver actually has been. I mean, I know that everybody's made, note of some of the passing game plays, but just how he plays, how he protects, his physicality in the run game, you really can't speak to just him playing that wide position to the level that he has. So, I think that tight end room, and then you've got Johnny Munt and some guys between Nick Muse working his way back, and then obviously Robert Tonyan as a veteran, and Sammy Reyes as well as our international player. I mean, we're loaded at the tight end position, and Coach Angelico does a great job with those guys.
You mentioned T.J. working his way back. Does he seem like he's at the point where that could increase, or do you still want to keep him at that same?
Yeah, I think when you look at it and you have a player like Josh playing at that level, it really allows TJ to have the maximum impact on the game with how we want to play, running the football a little bit more than maybe we have during TJ's time here. But I think there's really at this point to answer it, there's no set number. It's kind of how the game goes, and TJ can do anything that we ask him to do.
How do you feel about the running game yesterday?
Yeah, it was good front. I mean, number one, defense yardage-wise in football for a reason. That front has a lot to do with it. I was reminded of that just post-game, talking to Jeffrey Simmons and Sweat. Just you realize how massive those guys are. And Simmons is one of the best in all of football. He really is, and it showed up yesterday. We had our work cut out for us going into that game. There's always some things you can do better from a technique, fundamentals, play style standpoint, and just the small little things that can turn a 3, 4, 5 yard run into a 15, 20 yard run. And we were close on some of those, but I do think we've got to continue. That's one of the big areas as we move towards the home stretch here of the season, is continuing to get that. When we've been at our best as an offense is when we've been able to establish the run and all the things that come off of it. And it's easier said than done sometimes, but something that I think we've got to continue to improve at.
Kevin, you guys had the botched exchange on the toss play early, and then I think the next play you get the ball back.
Yep.
Sam checks to that to go back to it. Is that just a scheme thing, or is there something to that of going back to it and kind of just getting that out of your system from a confidence perspective?
Well, a lot of the game plan kind of goes right off that previous comment I made about those 2 guys inside. What's the best way to not run at those guys, to try to get the ball on the perimeter a little bit more. So it was a play where we had something else on run or pass on the first play, and the look that dictated that we get to the toss play, which I thought we were close on. We had some space in there, but this is a National Football League. We got to execute tossing the football. Whose ever fault it was, whose ever takes the ultimate minus on the sheet, it's catastrophic. We've had 2 of them early on in games, and it can't happen.
Is there anything when going back to that, though, just to tell Sam, hey, this is going to be part of our offense, and we can't kind of take a detour around
Tossing the football?
Yeah, I mean, just running toss plays and just coming up the middle, just, kind of like a quarterback would be going back to a receiver, so just going back to it.
Yeah, no, I do. If we're not going to be able to toss the football, we've got much bigger issues to work through in regards to, it's not a. I'm trying to answer the question. It's if I'm worried about that, and maybe I should be with two of them on the ground. But yeah, my expectation is with the amount of time you guys get to see a lot of that ball handling, you probably see 15 or 20 of those toss type things a day in ball handling because they're in every week. And like I said, 2 times early on in games, being our only turnover yesterday, I thought it was critical, especially when we were already in their opponent's territory. And then that's the turnover we have. I do believe it's unacceptable, and I got to get it fixed.
Kevin, a lot of good teams will lose a game or two during the season to a team that they're maybe better than on paper. Your team hasn't done that yet. Why is that? Why does your team not have that setback?
Yeah, all I know it's, looking at records and that sheet of paper of the two teams, we every week is a challenge. We've got to go play and try to find a way to win a game every single week. That's been our sole focus all year long. I think if we started to view ourselves as, we should beat this team or we shouldn't beat that team, that's the wrong way to go about it. We just got to play good football. And there's a lot of areas coming out of yesterday that I think we could play better in all 3 phases. And that's where, as we kind of reach the middle of November, pushing on into December, we've got to try to find a way to play our best football this season here down the stretch. And that might be overcoming the aches and pains of a long season, trying to be a physical football team, how we prepare. We got to show up and be ready to go every op we get, regardless of who we're playing. And I think if you've learned anything about our league, it's just, you don't play well, any team in this league can beat you. And if you do play well, and our team is the one I know the most about, when we play well, I think we've got a chance to beat anybody we play. But a lot goes into that, and we got to make sure we're doing all the little things to make sure that we're ready to roll, and it starts with me.
I'm a little, admittedly, obsessed with kickoff and stuff, but yesterday Ty had the one.
Yeah.
And were you guys looking to pop one, or is that just a short kick and he had to return it? Or?
No, we went into the game, one of the things that we wanted to really highlight with our team was we thought we'd get some ops to return a few more, based upon the data of where their kicks were coming down at, and we thought that it would be a chance to maybe get a few more in play. Actually thought we'd get maybe a couple other ops, depending on how the game went. But yeah, we wanted to try to see if we can at least flip the field. We were very close on that one to possibly, taking that the distance, and having Ty back there with how it's kind of worked out with Cam, assuming a little bit more of a role, being a good option to help keep Aaron's snap count where we want as we go down the home stretch here. Ty is a major contributor with his athletic ability, explosiveness as a kick returner, but also the personal protector on punt and just some of the other phases. So it's been a huge thing to help our team, kind of how that's all worked out.
Is that why he was the wrong guy back there, just to ensure that he was the returner?
But yeah, it was kind of how Coach Daniels thought we could maybe get the best. If they were going to give us an op, even if it was 2 or 3 yards into the end zone, we were going to try to maybe bring them out and see if we can get the best possible blocking assignments based upon how they schemed it up.
How did Dalton rise in a great help for you guys?
Yeah, I think Dalton did some good things. Like I said, it's one thing to get back in there and be working your way back from his injury to his window being open to then getting a chance to be out there. But it was, like I said, a really good front. I thought he battled. I thought he showed some of that veteran kind of moxie to kind of win some downs that were some hard downs. And then I think there's some things he'll continue just with the speed and physicality of it, find his groove. So I was really happy with the way Dalton stepped in and just kind of with the poise of the veteran that we're kind of looking for. And like I said, I was also really happy with the way Ed handled the week, and he was ready to go if need be.
Kevin, where have you seen Pat Jones improve the most as a pass rusher?
I just think he, is really detailed with how he prepares, Ben. I think big thing I don't know whether Kwesi has said it before or, it's just an overall philosophy, but pass rushing and the tools that guys really hone in on take some time sometimes. And I think Pat's really kind of figured out what he is as a rusher and then, his high-level traits to do those things. And then what are the change-ups off of those, understanding that I am in a front with Jonathan Greenard and Van Ginkel, and maybe it's a pressure we're bringing Cash or IP, and where he studies a lot. He knows where the weakness in protection is. He knows how he's going to be blocked, and then he attacks it. And that's the one word that comes to mind when I think of Pat, whether he's setting the edge in the run game or pressuring the quarterback. It just feels like he's at his best when he's in that attack mode, and he's done a great job of that. Clearly this year he's been huge for us.
Are Pat and Van Ginkel like two of the quietest pass rushers that you've been around? Like off the field?
That's the first time I would ever be categorizing pass rushers in that light. But I'll tell you what, he'll get incredibly chatty if you talk to him about fishing. I know that. So that's normally how I break the ice, and I'm not a very accomplished fisherman, so I probably don't bring a lot to the table from that conversation standpoint. But they really are. They're just all about their business, incredibly smart, instinctive players. Just the way even Flo was able to use Gink yesterday and provide some different looks. He ended up unblocked on quite a few runs, and he's making plays, TFLs, and then just the understanding of just how it's great post-snap. And Gink's clearly, with his interception against the Jets or the Giants, he's shown kind of an unbelievable pre-snap IQ. But then the post-snap, hey, I'm getting high in this rush. I'm going to level off right about the time that the quarterback's stepping up and gets another sack. I don't think it's a coincidence those guys have had career years. I think Pet and Amarje and Flo have put those guys in great situations, and they're capitalizing on it because they're really good football players. So I think it's it's a highlight for our team. It's really become a strength of our team and a big reason why we're winning some of these games that are going down to the wire.
You mentioned a few times that Greenard is having one of the better all
Yep.
And so obviously we see the sacks and we see the flash plays. So what are some of the things that maybe aren't quite as obvious to the naked eye that he does that have helped you guys?
Yeah, I think, just his ability to, at this point in the year, the tape is his resume, and people are really respecting. You're seeing the slide go his way a lot. You're seeing some opportunities for the other guys based upon where he is in the rush pattern. I think some of the early down stuff for a guy that really had not truly played like the outside linebacker position, edge setting position a lot in his career. He's been physical. He's been able to shed and get off blocks. He's set a great edge, and he's just been snap in and snap out, one of our most consistent players all season long. And I just can't say enough about what he's been able to do beyond the stat sheet, but also, those impactful kind of closer mentality type plays that he has had have been huge.
Looking at it now, do you think there's one coaching point or motivational point that you made to Sam last week that would have clicked with him?
Yeah, it just, honestly, he said it to me in the game a couple times when, first and foremost, I do want to say I thought he played a fantastic football game. I thought he played really well. Then I watched the tape and confirmed a lot, and then some of his kind of, above the line play that maybe covered up some other things around the play of our all 11 mentality was remarkable and a huge driving force behind winning the game, like I said. But we tried to go back to, let's just take a look at some of the things you've done really well. And when we did that, a lot of the things centered around his feet, his eyes, his ability to use his athleticism when warranted. And we knew that would probably come up in the game with the type of interior and edge pressure that we thought we would get. And he was really, really detailed in that. He was really decisive with his reads, and I thought that made him accurate with some big-time throws, some longer than others, but also just the rhythm and timing. I mean, he got back to Justin as the third or fourth progression on a play in the high red. He got, the catch that we challenged and they overturned by BP was the fourth progression. He got back to, even on the keeper game, being able to use his athleticism and throw a low cross to Josh, a down flat to Josh. Those are all just high level quarterback play by him, and I think he's it was a really good foundational kind of growth week, because I think we went back to, a lot of those, really highlighting a lot of those things throughout the week and kind of putting it on Sam to get to that standard every single snap of doing his job. And then he played great. So, hopefully it's something consistently that we see moving forward, because when he plays like that, regardless of how things are going in other phases of our offense, we're going to make enough plays to give our team a chance to win the game.
Last one.
Just with Brian O'Neill, at least by the PFF standards, hasn't given up a pressure in a
Yeah.
few weeks here, is one of the best in the league. Is there something that this year you've seen from him growth-wise, and what's the value of having him anchoring the line?
Especially, Matt, in a year where we've lost CD. And I think sometimes Cam stepped in and has, really served admirably from a standpoint of just being in a brand-new offense and playing. But I think if Brian wasn't playing to the level that he consistently has every game all season long, maybe we'd be in a little bit more of a, crisis management mode. But it just doesn't feel like that, because Brian's been so dang good, so consistent, and everything he's been on the field, he's been times 10 from a leadership standpoint. I mean, he has really assumed, you guys hear me a lot in those post games. When I'm done speaking, 75 is going to break it down, because I really feel like he's assumed that role. I've let him talk to the team a few times. He's been fantastic, and I'm glad PFF sees it that way. The film, to me, shows it. The way he practices every single day, and hopefully our fan base and everybody is seeing it the same way, because he deserves a lot of credit for the year he's had. I think he's playing some of, if not his best football, for sure the best football that I've been around, and that's saying something, because he's been really good for the entire time I've been here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.